Welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
A little more if you can.
Okay, you are live, and unfortunately, I don't think our guest has joined yet.
Okay, folks. Boy, that was a close call. I had to go help Jocelyn on the other computer real quick, and I made it back just in time. Holy cow. Well, Happy New Year to everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Treasure Talk.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a new year, and I hope everybody will find every one of their bucket listers.
Absolutely. We hope they find everything they want in this year and just have a good time metal detecting.
Yeah, I think one of your new customers is in the chat, the Fat Yacker.
Fat Yacker. That's my name.
Fat Yacker. First time today, and they're hooked.
Well, awesome. Hopefully they'll tell us what detector they got.
Well, I think he says he got it from you on Friday, I think, or something like that.
Awesome. That's
so,
really good. Hopefully he found a bunch of stuff.
I hope he did. I hope that we can get. Wait a minute. I'm trying to send Steve messages in here, and it's recording.
And I'm trying to pull up YouTube on my phone because I can't see any of the comments. And Jocelyn's in the other room.
Huh.
And she's going to answer questions or forward them over to us, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully, if we get Steve on, I know he's aware he's supposed to be here. I don't know what the deal is.
Uh-oh. Well, we can always do it, but let's go. I'm going to go ahead and get started and tell everybody. Okay. Of course, today's show is brought to you by Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And of course, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk guest or member belong solely to the guest and member and not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin.
Okay, you keep going with that, and I'm going to check the email and see if he emailed me.
Okay. And of course, the whole purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. And that's what our goal is every week. You know, we answer questions. Of course, Jeff can see them on YouTube. Right now, I can't see them on YouTube, but I've got my lovely wife in the other room, Jocelyn, and she will either bring them over to me or she'll shout them from across the room and I'll answer the question. So we'll get it answered. If you have any metal detector related questions, we'll try to answer it as best we can. And if we don't have the answer, we'll research it and bring it back next week. But most of the time we know it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I just wish I knew where Steve was.
I hope he's not in a different time zone.
Well, he's in Oklahoma, but he knows what time it is because we've got a little special presentation that we've done that I think everybody will definitely enjoy, don't you?
Yes. And you know, I can show the people products that he sells. Well, actually, I sell for him, and I'm throwing them now. There we go. This is one of his carbon fiber shafts for the Equinox 600 or 800. And, geez, I'm putting it at the wrong camera. I got two cameras based here. And this carbon fiber shaft is really nice. It's got a super good cam lock on it. And it's a aftermarket product if you owned an Equinox 600 or 800. It eliminates one of the cams in it. So you have less chance of having wear on that cam. So you only have two. And then if you have a super big coil, like I said on the infomercial I did earlier, This one, you can add a weight to it, so it would counterbalance it. Because I know a lot of people, especially if you're new to detecting and you put one of those big coils on your detector, it feels a little nose heavy. So he makes the counterweights for those. And it's just an awesome product. And of course, we stock it here at the shop. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area, or if you want us to send it to you, we can ship it also. And Steve's a super guy and he makes nice product. And then he also makes the, oh, Jeff is showing his Deus 2.
From Steve's Detector Rods.
Yes. And we'll have that in the shop here too, hopefully soon.
Yeah. And this one,
that's one of his first ones.
Deus 2 shaft right there in the shop, right?
Pardon me?
Hold up your Deus 2 shafts, and I'll hold this one up because they break down exactly the same way, the same size.
This is a Deus shaft. Deus 1 or 2 are pretty much the same exact thing.
Yep. Yes, they are. Great cam locks, and this is all 100% carbon fiber. So it's very, very light and extremely, extremely strong.
Yes.
So,
and if it's all carbon fiber when you're diving, you could shorten that up the way you have it there and not run into any problems, because the Deus is such a strong detector. If you use the stock shaft for diving, you'll have to keep it extended to a little further than you normally would.
Yeah, see, you put your hand all the way in it and have it collapsed, maybe not out a little bit, but it would be great. It would be great. And he's got a really nice carbon fiber adjustable arm cuff on it.
Oh, that's cool.
You can adjust it, and it comes with the foam padding for the inside and stuff. Let's see if he just messaged me.
He's probably having computer problems. That happens all the time when you're on the live stream. It's just the gremlins get in it. That happens. But yeah, this is the Deus 2 stock shaft. And from what I hear, if you use this, you've got to extend it further when you're diving, because the Deus 2 is such a strong detector, it'll pick up a little bit of the rod while you're swinging it.
Yeah. Especially, like you say, if you are diving.
Yes.
The Fat Yacker says he says the wife picked up a MindLab Vanquish 440.
Sweet.
We spent half a day at Fort DeSoto. Now I'm going to pick one up for myself this week. So you got to, hey, everybody knows if you don't have it in stock, they don't need it. So
right. So the issue there is, once one person gets a detector and finds out how fun it is, and there's two people, they've got to get that second detector.
Because he knows right away if the wife is using it, he can kiss his butt goodbye. He ain't getting it until he gets himself it. And if he's smart, will never outhunt her.
Yeah, it's such a cool hobby. And if you enjoy that, both of you have detectors. You got some friendly competition. Yes, Josh. Did you call me? Moose in New York. It's not Moosini. We've been in there. Can the Uniprobe by Detector Pro, does the Equinox model fit the Manicore detector too? Well,
and here we got Steve too.
The Uniprobe, I don't know. I don't think it does fit the Manicore, and I don't have a Manicore yet to try it out, to try to test it on. But supposedly in a couple weeks, I may have a Manicore in the shop, but I can't say that for sure. They've emailed me, the distributor, and says we might have 5 of them coming your way, but that's a big might. So I'm waiting to see. So then, in New York, I'll give it a try. I'll see if it does, or I'll call Carter tomorrow and see what he says.
Yeah, it possibly might, Phil. It might. You never know.
Yes.
Anyway, we got Steve on board. He was just like you said. He's in a different time zone, and he was thinking it was 7 his time. Actually, it's 6 his time. So he is with us now. And I think what we'll do, we have a very special presentation for people tonight. If you've ever wanted to know how difficult Steve from Steve Detector Rods, how difficult his job is, and how much talent you have to do this job at the degree of professionalism and quality that he does, we're fixing to show you. So sit back, enjoy this presentation, and we'll be right with Steve as soon as we get done. So sit back and watch this.
Are we able to talk now too, Jeff?
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay, and it's going out over the air. They hear it?
Yeah, they hear it.
Okay, all right, cool. You can. Okay, awesome. As soon as that call goes off, we'll start talking. Because for the folks who don't know Steve, Steve, you're in Oklahoma?
Yes, sir, Oklahoma.
Okay, so okay.
This is how you fabricate the detector rods, Steve, right?
What's that?
This is how you fabricate your rods.
It is. It's several of the steps that are involved in the process. I tried to get a good bit of it on film so people can kind of see what goes into it.
And there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just slapping stuff together.
No, there's quite a bit more to it. Quite a bit more steps involved. Things you got to do, little details that you got to look after to make sure that things are assembled and the epoxy bonds properly and all of those little details.
And don't you have to check? You have to check over every bit of the carbon fiber before you make it, because that can have defects in it as well, can it?
Absolutely. There's quality control that goes on at the end, where on the supplier end they check them before they send them, but then I have to check each one when I get them, check the tolerances, check to make sure there's no cosmetic.
Yeah, check to make sure everything fits just perfect and meets the specs of the original manufacturer. Hey, what is that shirt you're wearing there? Is that a Pittsburgh shirt?
I think he's in and out with the internet.
Yeah, we're losing some audio.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the internet.
Yeah, it's failing. I don't know how he does it without wearing gloves. Using that epoxy, I think I'd have to have some gloves on, because I'd have my fingers would be stuck together.
I know you
going in the house crying, asking Jocelyn to get some fingernail polish remover on that epoxy.
Well, I usually have it stuck to my arms and various other tools stuck to me, and
Yeah, I could not do that without gloves on.
If you notice in the video, there's always a bottle of rubbing alcohol always present to clean that stuff off, so no doubt about it.
Well, the thing of it is, Steve, I'd probably get so ticked off at epoxy myself, I'd be drinking the rubbing alcohol.
Then you would be blind, Jeff. For sure, you'd be blind.
Understood.
Sure.
Okay.
Awesome.
Now that I think is awesome. And folks out there, if you like this type of thing that we're starting tonight, please let me know, and I'll pop up an email.
Okay. Yes, I do see it.
And
Jeff, I didn't mean to cut in. I'm sorry. Jocelyn just told me to read Andrew T's question. He said, "Is there a better quality video of the assembly somewhere, Jocelyn? Do you have that on your website, Steve?"
I don't. I made that specifically for the show, but I can put it up on my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Put some video on it, because I think the people are interested in what you're doing and how you do it. That's cool.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy. Go back to
it. If if you want more of this type of thing, you need to let me know because I'm working on this type of thing. I found it very interesting, and I thought you possibly would as well, to see exactly what goes in to these things. And we've got a number of guests coming up. You're going to see what goes in, what drives them, what their day is like, because in every phase of this business that we're in, and Phil's part of the business, and a lot of the guests, they put an awful lot of time and effort in,
Yes.
to make it run smoothly. And we want to bring some of that to you. So if you enjoyed this segment tonight, let us know.
Yeah, let
And
us
we'll have
know.
more of it.
We'll keep it going. Hey, I did want to comment that Gene P said, always imagine what your shop looked like, Steve. Cool getting to see it.
Well, I
So they
appreciate
like-
that.
They
I'm starting to
like
run out of
seeing-
room. I'm going to have to get a bigger space. I'm building too many different types of shafts, and I've got too much inventory at this point. So I'm going to have to expand my space.
Right. Now,
That's a good problem to have.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true. I have to agree.
it is. So Jeff was showing the Deus 2 rod that you're making.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have that 13-inch coil in stock yet, but imagine when you put that on there, it might be a little nose heavy. Are you doing the weighted ends for that too?
Yeah, I've made, I don't know that, the folks run the swing in the XP detectors. I think if you're not familiar with my company because of my prior shafts, you may not know a whole lot about the counterweighting. And I know a lot of people that opt for the Deus do so because they think, the lightest machine they can get is the way they want to go. And so the idea of adding weight to it is sort of foreign to some of the folks that are using, XP machines. And I try to tell people, even though it's a light machine, it's designed to be light. The fact is, just like the rest of the detectors out there these days, because we've shrunk the size of batteries, because we continue to make our electronics lighter and lighter, what that ends up with is on the business end of the detector, the end where all the electronics and all are, there's very little weight. And now most of our weight, even though coils are pretty light these days, most of the weight of the machine, a large percentage is in the coil, which makes the machine nose heavy. And it doesn't matter whether you're swinging a Deus or an Equinox or a Nocta Macro Legend, it doesn't matter. Most machines these days are nose heavy due to the fact that we're reducing everything that used to put weight at the butt end of the machine. And so counterweighting benefits. You don't have to use a lot. One of the things I did when I designed that Deus shaft is I wanted to keep the weight as light as the original. In other words, I didn't want any heavier of a shaft. But what I did do was I redistributed some of that weight to the back end of the shaft. And the way I did that by using carbon fiber for the material, which made it lighter. But then in the arm cuff, there's additional weight in the arm cuff as compared to the Deus arm cuff. So there's about 3 ounces more weight to the back end of the shaft when you're swinging the machine with one of my shafts as compared to the stock. So that helps with the balance a little bit. If you want a counterweight ready shaft, yes, I absolutely can build them that way. I've had several customers opt for the counterweight ready addition to the shaft. But like you said, without the 13-inch coil being widely available at this point, a lot of people are doing it just in case. In other words, I'm going to get the counterweight ready shaft that will allow the counterweight to attach. And when I get that coil, if I do find out that it's harder to swing, a little bit heavier, a little bit nose heavy, they would then have the option to purchase the counterweight.
Yeah, because I think it's just an awesome setup. And Jocelyn just told me I did have a question of when are we getting that 13-inch coil? And unfortunately, I don't know that. I know that there's 3 U.S. distributors for XP Deus, and XP Deus lets me order from any distributor, so that's kind of nice. So I have orders in from 2 of the 3 distributors. So hopefully I'll get some soon. But I think they're more interested now making the stock coil, both the 9 and 11-inch coil. So
And the headphones and all that kind of stuff.
yes,
So-
and all the other accessories. But they will be coming. I saw a few came to the States, but that was it. And I know that would be a perfect application for that weighted shaft, especially for beach hunters. I think they want the bigger coil, and I think it would make it easier in the water to have that balancing of that weight better. So that is a cool idea. right now, the folks, these are available for the, of course, for the Equinox and for other detectors. And I just think it's an awesome product.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And this is my Deus 2 shaft from Steve. Now I opted for the one that I can either put my 9-inch coil on or my 11-inch coil that I use for water hunting, and I'll have to wrap my antenna around. However, Steve does, if you want to, he has made one that you can run it through the shaft. You just have to request that. There's another option there. And the beautiful thing that I think about this, if it's for a lady, this arm cuff is fully adjustable. I mean, if you're, got Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, you can move it all the way down there closer to the handle, and still be good. Or you can move it back out. So thought about everything. I tell you what, and the cam locks on this are just absolutely fantastic. This is 100% well-made shaft. You can't get better than this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now that arm cuff on there, I didn't get to see that. Is that what is that made out of?
It's carbon fiber also.
Yep.
Carbon fiber also.
100%
Yep.
carbon fiber, Phil.
The whole thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'll turn it this way. You can possibly see it comes with the rubber pad that you put in it. And it's got the stand to keep it up, and it's 100% adjustable. So, I mean, it's the quill.
And I'll also mention for anybody that wants, I do have those padded neoprene cuff covers that if anybody out there wants one to be added to the machine, I offer that as an option as well.
Okay. Is that like the it's sewn and it just slides
Yes.
onto the? Okay, I've seen those before.
Yep, it makes it a little bit more comfortable.
Yes, the neoprene is very comfortable.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like something you probably need to stock, Phil.
Yeah. Will they now? You sew all them and they work with other detectors or just that one?
I have those.
I think I
The
lost.
cuff is that I offer there, so they may not fit with other. It depends on the size of the arm cuff, but
Oh, okay.
but it fits the cuff there that comes with the Deus. And I'll also mention, just for what it's worth, if anybody likes that arm cuff and they want to use that for, let's say, an Equinox shaft, it's a pretty standard size. It's a 22 millimeter arm cuff, so it'll fit a number of different shafts. I designed it for the Deus shaft, but it will work with others as well.
Yeah, we do have a question from Tim Naylor. He wants the price point of the D2 shaft. Well, Phil is going to probably stock them. We got to talk later, and we'll get that answer to you. We're not 100% sure what it is right now. And then the JBP Hobbyist wants to know, do you make them for AT Pro detectors? And I think you probably do, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, I actually offer two different options for the AT Pro. If you just want to replace the lower two sections of the shaft, the middle and the lower, and you want that shaft to attach directly to your Garrett upper shaft, I have a shaft that will do that. But if you want to replace the entire shaft, the S handle and all, I also offer a complete shaft replacement for the AT Pro. So either one of those two options are available.
I tell you what.
I was going to ask real quick, Jeff, is the same weighted option available for that AT Pro shaft?
Yep. Again, if somebody doesn't like the nose heaviness of the Garrett machine and they buy the complete shaft, yes, I absolutely can build that one counterweight ready.
Yeah, I would say that would be the way to go because the AT Pro is definitely nose heavy, and especially if you put one of the bigger coils that Garrett makes or a Nell coil on there for sure, it's nose heavy. And that would be a perfect application for that weighted counterbalance for sure.
Yes, indeed. So what other machines are you making? I know you make it for Equinoxes and you make them in different colors too, right? Now, could you, let's say somebody would want a camouflage D2 shaft. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, let me elaborate on that a little bit. I have not yet started to stock all of the tubes and all the colors for the D2 shafts. I started out with just black, but If somebody wants, for now, I can do a color on a custom basis. The only thing I can't do at this point with the colored shafts would be to offer the option where you run the wire inside the shaft. The reason being, the holes in the shaft are oval shaped. If you want that option, so that clip that fits on top of the remote control can fit into the shaft and then exit back out of the shaft. So I have my tube suppliers cut oval holes, and they do that with a special type of machinery, a CNC milling machine. So if you wanted me to build you a colored shaft, I would be using a colored tube that I have in stock, and it would not have those holes in it. So if you don't need the inside the shaft option and you want to do a custom colored shaft, I can do that. At some point in the future, I will offer those as more of a regular type offering once I can get my inventory built up of the specific sizes and lengths of tubes that you need to build the Deus shaft. And then at that point, I'll be able to offer them with all those options. But for now, the inside the shaft option to run the antenna wire would not be available if we did a custom colored shaft.
And I think, there's been a lot, and I think Phil has this problem. I myself don't have it because I'm a runt. But some of the other fellas that are taller with the Deus 2 shaft, when you have to extend it out, it wobbles.
Yeah, the stock shaft does.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have that problem because, like I said, I'm a runt, and trust me, it ain't even close to be out all the way. So it's double tough for me. But with this carbon fiber Deus 2 shaft you made, there ain't no way that sucker's going to wobble.
No, it's not. It's a good, stout, stable shaft. And the other thing is, I did make it to where my stock shaft length is longer than the XP shaft. It's longer in both the handle to the butt end length, because for me, when I tested the Deus 2, that length, I couldn't move the arm cuff back far enough to where I was in a comfortable position. So I made that length longer, but then I also made it longer in the handle to coil maximum extension length. So if you're a taller user, you can go on and extend that out, and because of the carbon fiber and because of the cam locks, it will remain a stable, shaft that won't wobble on you, it won't flex.
Yeah, that's the problem I had, the flexing on the stock shaft. It's plastic. The one end is plastic. It's not carbon fiber on the stock shaft, rather. And then it goes into the aluminum tube. But that's what I had, especially if you're in the water. And I can only imagine how much flex you would have if you had that 13-inch coil on there. I just know.
Oh, yeah.
Would be
that was one of the first things. It was one of the first things I noticed when I first picked up the Deus 2 was that lower rod being made out of plastic. It did have a lot of flex in it, and the longer you extend it, and the larger coil you're using, the more flex there is. So.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, this one is from. I got a question from Double G Detecting, and he's asking, Steve, is the color version actually the color of the carbon fiber, or is it painted on?
Yeah, let me try to just give a really short explanation of the way a carbon fiber producer produces a round carbon tube. Carbon fiber is actually a cloth. It's a material that has strands of carbon that run in various directions. That's part of what gives it its strength and its rigidity. But it comes in a fabric or a cloth. It comes in rolls. And so when they want to make a carbon fiber tube, what they will do is they'll choose a metal tube that represents the inside diameter of this tube that you want to produce. So if you want to produce a 20 millimeter inner diameter tube, you take a 20 millimeter one of these metal rods, they call them mandrels, and they'll take a 20 millimeter diameter mandrel, and then they will get carbon fiber cloth, and it's impregnated with epoxy. They'll kind of soak it in a type of epoxy, and then they start rolling it, and they just roll and roll and roll layer after layer of this fabric on top of this metal mandrel. And so you've got the fabric with this carbon fiber going in all different directions, and you continue to roll layer after layer after layer onto this tube. That's how you get the wall thickness that you desire. So let's say you want a 1 millimeter wall thickness. So roll that fabric on there until you get a 1 millimeter thick wall. At that point, So far, appearance doesn't matter. All this is layers of carbon fiber cloth. The very last wrap of fabric is what they call the money layer. It's the visible layer that you're going to see. And at that point, they can make that that last layer in a whole bunch of different ways. My blue black, for instance, I believe it's actually a Kevlar blue thread that's woven through the black fiber. And so that's then the last layer. They'll put one wrap of that blue black fabric that has a Kevlar blue thread through it, which is what gives it its appearance. That's the way they make that tube. If they're doing just a regular blue tube, they will make that last layer is white. And it's got that underlying kind of twill pattern, but it's a white layer. And then I think it's almost like an airbrush technique. They will paint that tube with whatever color you want, a transparent type of paint, so that that pattern shows underneath, and then they put a clear coat over it to protect the underlying layer. So it's that last layer that they can do all kind of different things with. Whatever color you want, there's different fabric styles, there's all different ways, but that's just that one last wrap. And that's the way they make a carbon fiber.
Right. Okay. Well, I do have another question. Jocelyn just told me from Rick T. And he said the DS2 is already a very light detector. Is the carbon fiber shaft much lighter than the factory shaft, or is it just tougher?
It is not, it's about the same weight as the stock shaft. But again, what I could have made it lighter. I could have made that arm cuff less bulky, for lack of a better word. If you look at it, it's the walls of the carbon are pretty thick. I made it pretty stout. And part of the reason for doing that is I wanted that arm cuff to be a little bit heavier to redistribute the weight. So what you have is a shaft that weighs about the same as the Deus stock shaft, and yet more of the weight is at the rear end of the shaft. That shaft weighs about 16 ounces, just a hair over a pound. That's about what the stock shaft weighs. But 3 ounces of additional weight exist in that coil, or in that arm cuff. The arm cuff weighs about 5 ounces. The Deus stock arm cuff weighs about 2 ounces. So there's 3 additional ounces that could be moved to the back end of the shaft without making the shaft heavier. But what it does is it better balances things. It puts some of that weight back to the rear end so that you have a more balanced, less nose heavy shaft. So it makes it a lot more comfortable. It will swing light. It will feel lighter, even though the weight is the same.
Right.
Especially for Ricky T, because I know him personally, and he's got pretty long forearms. The way this adjusts, Rick, you're going to love it, because a lot of times you'll find that it's not comfortable for you with some of these detectors, where you can slide this puppy back and it's going to be a whole much better. And something else that I forgot to tell you, when you look on the where you mount your remote control, he's got it built in. This is the lock to lock your remote control on. So he thought everything.
So it already has a remote control lock on it then.
Yep. But you still need
Oh, you need the lanyard too.
Yeah. That's just an added precaution. In stock at Myers Metal Detectors.
Absolutely. So that is thinking of everything. Already have a different locking system in it. That's nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a few other little things that I try to do with it as well. If you notice, and I don't know if you've noticed this yet, Jeff, or not, but actually the way the mount sits in the handle, it's actually recessed farther in. And the consequence of that is when you attach your remote, it allows you to more easily manipulate your thumb to hit the buttons on your remote control.
Yep. I hadn't mounted anything on it yet. I was waiting. Now I'll do it this week, but I was waiting for the show so we can show the shaft and everything. So then I will get everything mounted on it. We do have a comment from Jean P. She says, "Love Steve's knock shaft. Everything about his shafts are spot on perfect. You won't be disappointed with a Deus 2 shaft or any shaft you get from Steve's detector rods." I have to agree with that.
Thanks, Gene. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the cams on this one here are just awesome. So I think that the manufacturer may have copied you. too, Steve.
That's okay. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, if you compare it to the new detectors coming out, it looks like
Right.
they might have copied you a little bit. Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
But Steve also makes the handles for the T-Rex and for the Stealth and for other scoops. So we do stock them, and maybe I can.
Well, why don't you retrieve one while we have a word from our sponsor?
Perfect timing, Jeff. You're the man.
I have my moments. We'll
You
be right
do.
back, folks.
You do, my friend. Hey, folks, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors. And today I'm going to show you some cool products for the Equinox, and we've got them available for other detectors too. But this is the Steve's detector shaft. And if you've got an Equinox 600 or 800 and you're swinging a larger coil than the stock coil, for sure, you should have this set up. It's got a real nice counterbalance weight that you can put on it. And you can customize it to you because it's got inside here, there's little bags with sand in them, so you can customize it so it balances perfect for you when you're swinging that coil on your Equinox. And also, Steve makes these really cool handles for the T-Rex, for other scoops, and we stock those too. And if you're a guy who likes the camo, check out Steve's camo shaft. And these have awesome cams that slide real easy. Anyway, Steve's Detector Rods, we sell it here at Myers Metal Detectors. 813-237-1939. Dig deeper, my friends. That guy talks a lot, don't he?
And no offense to our viewer, the fat yacker, but Phil said he's gonna bogart your name because he's gonna turn into the fat yacker.
I'm already there, my friend. I'm ready to go to the 2XL shirts now. That's what Big Poppy says. I need the 2XL. The single XL's looking a little tight on me. So, but yeah, Steve does make the handles for the T-Rex scoop. Awesome product. And if you're using the wood handle, they're so much heavier, aren't they, Steve?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The wood handle is heavier and they rot. And I've not seen. Well, no, I take that back. I think I saw one in 20 some years. I've seen one carbon fiber handle break, and it wasn't really a break. It came out of the end of the scoop.
Well, you know what happened, Phil? If you use those shovel handles, that wood for your scoop, and you're hunting in the water, when you're digging, that 25 gram, 24 karat gold with a 1 carat diamond ring, that handle's going to bust on you.
A big, heavy gold target, yes.
That's right.
But it is an awesome handle. It makes it lighter for you so you can hunt longer. And it's just, it's a nice product. And we sell them here at the shop too on all different types of scoops. You can put them on the Stealth scoop, the T-Rex, and maybe other scoops when we get those in.
Yes, indeed.
For sure. So, Steve, tell us about some of your detecting finds over the past year.
Two of them come to mind immediately, and that is two that were on my bucket list that I'd never dug. I got a Flying Eagle scent. One was in 1857, I believe, and the other was 1858, I think. But never dug one of those before, and I actually got one on 2 separate hunts this year, so I was really pleased with that. Those are tough to come by. Only were made for a couple of years there, so I enjoyed that. Those were a couple of the better ones for the year.
Oh, that is good. Yeah. I think I've only dug one Flying Eagle scent, and it was like almost trashed, but you could just make out the eagle on it.
Yeah, neither one of these were in real good shape either. The copper got a little beat up being in the ground that long, but I was really glad to dig those.
Pardon me, Joss?
Turn your mic off so I can talk.
I can't.
Well, James Bay, are they ordering directly?
Yes.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
We lost him. He's gone.
He gone.
That's right. He gone. He'll be back. I think I know what he's doing. Anyway, Jean P made a comment. She said, yes, exactly what Delco said. And Delco detecting was, you'll understand when I finish this comment. When you order anything from Steve, he asks everything needed to be sure your shaft is perfect for you.
I certainly try to. I like to customize to each one of my customers' needs. Anybody that has any type of special request, I try to build it just the way they want it.
Well, that's that's what makes you famous, son. And the quality. Quality speaks for itself. And I would never worry, about the price of anything because you get what you pay for. I've always found that, and I think people in the treasure hunting industry. Guess who's back?
I'm back.
The fatter yacker is back.
I'm the fatter yacker. Yeah, I shouldn't touch any buttons on my display here. Oh boy. I gotta be hands-free, I guess.
That's right. So, going back to the Deus 2 shaft that you made, there's absolutely no way that those cam locks are going to slip. None.
Yeah, no. And the good thing about it is you have full control over that clamping tension. There's that thumb screw on there, and so if you you get to adjust that, you get to fine tune that clamping tension to lock those sections down just as tight as you want them.
Yeah, I had the same problem with my Deus 2 when I first got it. That I had to really forcefully adjust the cam lock on it. Tighten it because it was just slipping all over the place.
Yeah, I've heard a few people mention that.
Yeah, to changing it out, putting it on this shaft here. So it'd be great.
To me, the shaft, I can't wait to get the Deus 2 shaft because I know the customers are going to like that, especially if they're diving. Because Jeff, you showed that one shorten up enough. Because if you use the stock shaft, you can't shorten it. I don't know if you guys know that. Because you'll pick up the metal in the shaft of the stock shaft. So you have to leave it extended on the Deus 2. So that would be a little bit tougher underwater to do that. So it'll be easier with that new shaft for sure.
And I think you'll find that if you were like most of us that are waders, this is when you get into some strong current with the current Deus 2 stock shaft, it does wander, and it's a little hard to keep over your target. With this shaft, I don't think you're going to have that problem. I really don't.
No, not at all.
So
what other finds let's go back to the finds again. What other finds are you looking for that you haven't found, Steve?
Oh, well, of course, being a coin guy, the top of the bucket list for me is any U.S. gold coin. Would love to find one. And that's, of course, probably something I will struggle to do. Right below that is a silver dollar. I'd love to find a silver dollar. A lot of the guys that I hunt with have managed to find. One of my good friends found a peace dollar at a park not far from here several years back. My buddy I just hunted with yesterday got a Morgan not too long ago at another big city park. So they're out there, but that's I'd love to dig a silver dollar.
Yeah, I think they're kind of a rare find because they were such a big coin to find. I have found a Morgan dollar before, and I've found believe it or not, a lot of half dollars. But I think the large silver coins that would be so easily spotted on the ground.
Right.
So
when those are dropped, they're pretty easy to see laying there. You'd have to either drop them in the snow or maybe out in the woods where there's some leaves or whatever.
Right.
Or on the beach.
Yeah, maybe on the beach, yes. If you had some major erosion, it might expose those. But I think over my coast, we don't have the old silver there. You have to go to the east coast of Florida to see some old silver. Right, Jeff?
That's right. Because we don't really get that. on the Gulf side, but you'll find more of the old stuff. For instance, the Mumbles man and I were down in Daytona, and he finds a V-nickel on Daytona Beach.
Oh my!
You know, there wasn't that much erosion, so the best we could come up with was some kid raided the coin collection. You know, or
That's always possible.
he got it in the will. Says, heck with this, I'm going to spend this. You know, had no clue. So
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
think it was that. I think that because I've heard of old coins coming out there. People have been going there for years, Jeff, and you have the possibility of something falling and just getting uncovered when it was his day. So
Yeah.
that's what I think it was. What it was.
could it be? Well, a lot of times it's his day.
Oh yes, yes.
That's why he's called the Mumbles man. Because when he finds the stuff, you know, you're hunting your hind end off, and he comes up and he's grinning, looking like a raccoon, you know, washing his food, and he just drops it in your hand. That's when you know his name's the Mumbles man. You start going, you know, you're mumbling.
Yeah, and you know, I just got a comment on the live stream, and from Finders Keepers, he said I've heard lots of people seed the beaches now, and that's true. You'll see a lot of fake Spanish coins seeded on the beach, but I don't think you'll see anybody seeding it with really good silver coins or stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe some people do.
I've heard of those fake like Spanish cobs that people apparently are throwing out on the beach, and
Yeah, it's kind of cruel.
yeah, it's
Because I see them, the people come in and show them to me here in the store. They're all happy and gung ho that they found the silver cob. And I hate to be the guy that tells them, no, there's a seam on that. That's not real. That's a copy.
that's
know,
awful.
It's sad to be the bearer of bad news for sure. But you know, it's still fine to find that on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I found
Go ahead, Jeff.
let's do a giveaway.
Okay.
Because I put it up there and somebody already texted me and I hadn't even done the name yet. Anyways, what we are giving away tonight, courtesy of Steve's Detector Rods, we're giving away one of these fantastic hats. And I tell you what, this is my favorite hat. Phil has one on as well. And we're giving away a Steve's Detector Rod t-shirt. So what you have to do, as always, you have to be a member of Treasure Talk YouTube. You had to go and register on a separate video and use a special phrase. And that phrase was Steve's Detector Rods, you know you want one. And you do. So I'm fixing to draw a name. You'll have 3 minutes to text with your name and then you are here. And then what you must do is you must send an email to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com with your name, address, phone number, and t-shirt size. And I will get that to Steve and he will get your hat and shirt out to you. So get ready. You'll have 3 minutes. So at 7:52, we're calling another name if you don't respond. So Las Vegas Urban Treasure Hunter, you are the winner tonight. You have 3 minutes to text to my number on the screen with your name and that you are here.
And let me just say this too. We're not streaming on Facebook anymore, but we still have the Facebook group. So if you do win a prize, please post a picture of you wearing the t-shirt or the hat on our Facebook page if you can on Treasure Talk. We'd love to see the prizes that are won for sure.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So tonight somebody's going to get an awesome hat and an awesome t-shirt. I would
Yes,
have
they
been
are.
I would have been wearing mine, but mine's in the wash because I did the little commercial on Saturday, so hadn't gotten it out yet.
Well, let's hope that Las Vegas Treasure Hunter, Urban Treasure Hunter, is watching the show. If he's not, in 2 more minutes, I'm going to go to another name.
Yeah, well, we can do that for sure. So, Steve, what else have you got in the lineup that you're starting to make? Anything new?
that day is too is probably the newest thing I have produced. Although I get a lot of folks asking about Nocta shafts, and I tell people that's a tough one. It's because if you look at the Deus shaft, of course, is not the stock shaft is not round, doesn't use round tubes. So when I produced mine, I had to change things around to where it fit a round tube shaft. The difficulty with the Nocta machines, though, is that the with those non-round tubes, it's the way the handle and the arm cuff assembly fit on. They have to fit onto a non-round tube. So I don't have the option of building a round tube shaft for the Nocta macro machines. But I continue to look at that. I continue to see if there's any options there. I'm selling a number of different shafts that are kind of that I haven't publicized quite as much because of not as many people using those. I produce shafts for Excalibur. I've started producing those for the Mine Lab, some of the GPX machines, some shafts for those.
You did mine for my Tersace.
Yeah, Tarsace. I produced the lower two sections for Tarsace shaft. So there's quite a few now that I can do, and some I can even do custom. I've done that a few times. Somebody who I recently had a customer ask me if I could build a shaft, a two-piece lower shaft for a White's MX Sport. So I can build those now as well. So just give me a call and or send me an email and see if you've got a specific request, and I'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Las Vegas Urban Treasure Hunter is no longer the winner. So, Dave Taylor, if you are watching tonight, you've got 3 minutes.
3
Dave
minutes.
Taylor.
All righty. So, Steve, what type of detecting? Where do you detect at?
You know what? Most of the time, if I don't have a good spot that I've gotten permission for lined up, there are so many old parks here in Oklahoma City, in this area. Enjoy hunting those old parks. My favorite places to hunt, though, are old churches. When I can find where there was, especially if the church is no longer there. But old churches seem to be spots that I do really well at, particularly when I'm back home in Pennsylvania. There's a couple of old church sites there that I really enjoy hunting and can find some really neat stuff. But a lot of the time I'm hunting. I'm not the best permission getter. I'm not the best, knock on folks' door and try to get permission. So I hunt a lot of public spots, just parks and schoolyards and churches and things like that. Is where I spend a lot of my time.
Now, when you were back in Pennsylvania, how did you find out where the churches were at that are no longer there?
What I'll do is I'll spend a lot of time researching online, researching the spots in Pennsylvania before I make my trip. So I usually have a good long list of places that I've done some research on, whether it's map overlaying or looking at old topographic maps. I have some of the old maps from some of the original settlements, people that moved in and bought the properties. So I have a lot of those old maps that I study and try to get some clues as to where things used to be. And I spend a lot of time, like I said, a lot of time while I'm here in Oklahoma researching for those trips when I go back home.
Okay. And how long have you been in Oklahoma?
Oh, I've been in Oklahoma since 1996. So what is that, about 26 years now?
Yeah, 26 years. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And home in Pennsylvania was
where? It's in Western Pennsylvania, a little bit northwest of Pittsburgh, pretty close to where Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania borders all meet, right there at the Ohio River. Not too far from there.
Okay. That answers your question about the Pittsburgh shirt, Steve.
That's right.
Yeah.
People might have caught that in the video.
Okay, going on to the third time's the charm. And I think we got a winner this time. Ricky T, are you in the house? You got 3 minutes to text, buddy.
I think I know that guy.
I think I do too. I don't know if Steve's got one big enough.
I may.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not that big. He's probably an XL.
I tell you what, I got a buck that says he's at least a double.
A 2XL. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well,
he better get his fingers flying.
Yeah. I'm gonna
So
watch.
Ricky T, you know the drill.
Yeah. And Joe Veazey, my good buddy, says, "Congrats, Ricky T." But if he ain't on, he ain't getting it.
That's right. If he don't text, he ain't getting diddly. We'll give it
Yeah,
to Big Poppy.
yeah. We'll move on to the next guy for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
GP says, "Go Steelers!
That's right.
Go Steelers!" And Adele says, "I am 6 miles north of Pittsburgh."
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so a lot of people in PA.
Yeah, I have a lot of customers up there as well.
So, Steve, the town you're in Oklahoma, when was it founded?
You know, there's a whole big long story for that. This part of Oklahoma used to be all Indian reservations. And so there was no white settlement allowed for the longest time in a good bit of central Oklahoma. They finally opened up this area that I live in for settlement in 1889. There was a land run where people could claim sections of property, and that happened in 1889. So Norman was founded in 1889.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying is we gave the land to the Indians and then we took it back.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. And there's a whole history there. A lot of that occurred because of the Civil War, believe it or not. It was, certain tribes sided with the Union and certain tribes sided with the Confederacy. So the tribes that sided with the Confederacy, part of the terms of the fact that they sided with the enemy, so to speak, was that they had to cede some of their land back to the United States. There's a whole history there. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that is.
So we got our winner, and he texted me and he goes, "Yo, essay, Steve's Detector Rod shirts are nice." And he wants a 3X.
Okay.
Well, a 3X?
Yeah.
A 3X. I didn't
Yeah,
think
you
it's that
got
big.
anything that large, Steve?
But
I don't remember if I know I have 2X. I will have to check to see if I have any 3X in stock.
yeah,
Well, I
he
just
gives you
slit one down the back, slit two of them, and kind of use some duct tape and put them together. He'll never know.
That's right.
I see Louis Villarreal says, "Hey, Phil, hook me up with a sand scoop. Mine's falling apart. And I've been patching it up." Yeah, we can hook you up with a real nice sand scoop, and it'll have a Steve's Detector rod handle on it. And I guarantee it won't come apart for sure.
That's right.
And we've
So
got
now,
both the T-Rex sizes, or 3 sizes in T-Rex, and 2 sizes in extreme, or not extreme, in stealth extreme scoops. So we can get you set up for sure.
Yes, indeed. So now Mr. Essay needs to send the email. He knows that drill, and we'll be good.
Yeah, congratulations, Ricky T. I see that's rolling through the feed for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it looks like we're getting that hour's pretty much gone pretty quick.
I know. So that was a really interesting thing for me, at any rate. The little spot you produced showing how the steps you go about making a shaft, and I think the people really enjoyed it. At least I hope you did. And like I said, if you do want to see more like that, please let me know.
Yes, let us
And I
know.
will try my best to make it happen. I've got some other things in the works, 3 or 4 more in the works, but we need to know if this is the kind of thing that y'all like to see. And we'll see about making it happen. And you can always count on Steve at Steve's Detector Rods to lead the way, which he did. So when I called him, I said, "Steve, this is what I got an idea to do. Can you do it?" He goes, "I don't know."
He did it.
Fortunately,
Awesome job for sure.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I have a technologically savvy daughter that helped me out with that. So
Well, that's even better already to have. And then, it's just like the same thing with the Deus 2 shaft. The time he was on, I said, "Make me a Deus 2 shaft." That's how the Deus 2 shaft came about, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I sent him some pictures of how I modified mine, and boom, there it goes. So, and his is 10 times better than anything I could come up with.
Right. All right, my friends. Well, it looks like we're getting to that time. So let me say thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jeff. And
Absolutely.
thank you way over there to Jocelyn for helping me do this tonight and hand me the questions. And Jeff,
Appreciate,
who you got coming
appreciate you
up?
guys having me on.
Oh, we
You
appreciate
are quite welcome. And we look forward to more great things from Steve's Detector Rods. And we'll get you back on soon with any updates, anything that's coming out and about. Just so you know, on Treasure Tales on Thursday night, as Berks County Detecting and Bagjira will be our
Cool.
guests on Treasure Tales this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we would just hope that everybody is going to have a fantastic new year. And I think everybody did have a great Christmas. And we hope that all your bucket listers get found. And not within the first week, but, in the first couple months of the year. From Phil and I, Jocelyn, and Big Poppy, who is an integral part of the Treasure Talk family. We just want to thank you all for watching, and happy hunting and dig deeper. Good night, everybody.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Night. See you guys. Happy New Year.